have been enjoying this series of exploring the principles of this amazing teaching. And hasn't it been fresh and new? I mean, it has for me. I've been listening to the talks, and it's amazing that this 100-year-old teaching has such relevance today. And that is no different as we talk today about love. Now, if you know anything about the New Vision Center, you know that love has been the guiding principles of this organization for the last 35 years. It used to be in our vision statement, it used to be love awakens hearts and transforms lives. And for about 7 years now, our vision statement is altogether revealing the power of love. Yes. And so love has always been right at the center. And it might bring up the question, so what is that love? What is that love? Because we use that word quite frequently, don't we? About hamburgers and new dresses and people we just met and communities. Love. There's a difference between that kind of love, when we just love somebody or something, and the love that is eternal, the love that we are going to deepen in today. And we lean into our beloved Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, and the belief statement that we're working with today is we believe in the eternal goodness, in the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. If you ever heard me pray, you know that I lean into that often, some variation of it, because it helps me to remind myself that love, the eternal givingness of life, is all there is. Now, how can we think about that love that is very different, experienced in form in this dimension here on planet Earth, and this love that we believe that we are talking about, that is the eternal, always present love? I wish there would be a different word. Maybe we can think about as a capital L love for that which has always been and will always be. Would that be helpful? Although I don't know how we're going to say that. Love. With the emphasis on the L. So this love, the capital L love, that we're going to talk about today, that we're going to lean in today, that we are going to find perhaps more words for ourselves to help us remind ourselves that that love is always, always available. It is not out there. It is said that that love is actually everywhere, and if it is everywhere present, it is also within us. As a matter of fact, the poet Rumi reminds us that our work, our task, is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within ourselves that we have put up. Let's breathe into that. So love is everywhere present. There's no place where love is not. And yet it says that if I am in a place where I am not experiencing this love, that somehow I have put up barriers, that I have picked up limiting beliefs that don't allow me to feel this love, to be aware of it, to recognize it. That is why I am so grateful that we have the New Vision Center, that we have music, that we have beloveds who have discovered this power that is everywhere present and share it willingly with the world, so we are reminded. It is right here. It is right now. If we close our eyes, we can actually feel it, the presence of love. So I am interested in who is before me here in the sanctuary and online, so I would like to do a little experiment. If you believe, if you buy into this idea that love is everywhere present and that it is up to us to remove the barriers so we can allow it in, if you are yes for that, I'm going to count to 3, and on 4, we're going to clap one time. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Yes! You're my people. Look at that. I love that. Now, we have this established. We believe this, right? We feel it, especially when we're in meditation. We are having this sense of, I am one in the one. Love everywhere. It is not connected to that person loving me back or this situation to be exactly that way. No, the love just pours out of us and makes all things right. And we have to walk it out, though. We have to remind ourselves. And we have to come up with reminders, perhaps an affirmation. For those of you who are in the foundations class, we're working with affirmations. How about this affirmation? Are you willing? Are you able? Are you ready to say to yourself, I am a willing vessel of love? Let's try that together. I am a willing vessel of love. Let's do it again. I am a willing vessel of love. Yes. And so this hand motion often, for me, goes with that, right? I am a willing vessel of love, and pulling it down. And as you notice, here is our beautiful art piece of our teaching symbol, that V, that pulling it down. Love, the love that is everywhere present, is all the way up here in the first strata, where the potentiality of all life is, where the purity of all of these qualities of the divine resides. And it is up to us to pull it down into our experience. And then we see it made manifest in form. Recently, I heard this wonderful metaphor of exactly this. Do you remember in the olden days, and maybe just from movies, when people would go into a restaurant, especially if they lived in a colder climate, there would be a coat room. And there would be a lady or a man who would receive the coat, and then they would give you a ticket. Do you remember that? You know what I'm talking about if you don't remember that, if you haven't experienced it? You know what I'm talking about, right? And you have this ticket that declares, that is my lot. That is my allotment. Let's think about it as love. The love that we all have been given, the love that is our birthright. What if we would have gotten a ticket for that and we just forgot about it. We put it in one of the pockets we usually don't check when it's time to claim it again. But we have been given this ticket. So in the metaphor, after you have had your delicious dinner or watched the show, you go back to the person who took your coat and you just present the ticket and you are given back what is yours, what is rightfully yours. If we think about it as love, then what it takes for us is a remembering, a recognizing that when we were created, love was given to us. Infinite. The ability to connect to the infinite supply of love. This eternal loving kindness, this eternal givingness of life to each one of us. There's nobody where that was not given to, whom that wasn't given to. Right? If I would have a magic wand, I would use it right now. And everybody who can hear my voice would find a ticket in their pocket. Here in the sanctuary, online, wherever one is. Wouldn't that be great? I need to find a good magician for that. Yes. All right, Molly's pointing to her heart. I think she's saying we feel it in our heart. Let's go with that.
We can use our labels.
All right. So what I want us all to know, that we each have this ticket to claim the love that is truly ours. And when we are remembering that truth, then the fear and that tight holding on to a conditional love in this realm simply melts away. When we are realizing that I am always sourced by love, I can then look at my circumstances, at my affairs, and decide, how do I want to show up? What is still in alignment for me and what is not? Do you see that that gives us freedom? Because we are not in the grips of this fear that says there's not enough. There's not enough love for you. Once we are able to let that go, we can meet one another unencumbered, unruled by this fear that love is absent, because love is always, always right where we are. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, talks so beautifully about it. He reminds us in all the books that he wrote powerfully about just that. That if we don't experience love, unconditional love, that it is our work to look for those barriers and move them away. And once that happens, every experience changes. Is there still going to be hardship? Yes. There's still going to be things that don't work out? Yes. But when we have this deep sense that love is there, right where I am, right where the other person is, elegant solutions make themselves known that we didn't even know before were there. And this happens all the time. I see we want to have this slide now. Let's talk about it. This is what Dr. Ernest Holmes says in The Voice Celestial. Light comes when we are at least aware of it. We suddenly look up from the sameness of everyday life, and there it is, unasked and unexpected. Have you ever had that experience? You're just going about your life, not thinking about anything, and bam! The light makes itself known. I think that the reason we often fall, or sometimes, or often, fall into the trap that we look in form in this experience here on planet Earth for unconditional love is because we meet someone and all of a sudden this light appears within us and we feel the love that we are. And then we make the fallacy and look at the other person and say, "You complete me." No, that is not what happens. What happens is, for some reason, it might be chemistry, it might be just the situation, it might be just love, earthly love. You know, it might be that. And we are reminded, oh, yes, I can feel that love. And our poor, limited minds, finite minds, are not used to know that that is the love of the divine that is always with us, regardless if that other person is around or not. But that is where our mind says, oh, I feel this love. There it is, out there. When all the while, it is right here. It is within us. It is a situation that reminds us that we are love, because love is all there is. And so Dr. Ernest Holmes says everyday life is taking place, and there it is, unasked and unexpected, indifferent to our acceptance or rejection of it. The light is there, and that is all that we know. Impersonal as the beauty of a sunset, we are bathed in it at all times. It does not move from place to place. It is just there, awaiting us always and forever. Love is everywhere present, all of the time. It is awaiting us to turn towards it, to look within, to find that infinite bubbling up of love, that life force, that power, that joy, that harmony, that incredible feeling of aliveness. For that, I believe, is what love is. And we try so hard to put it into words, when all the while we have to accept that we cannot put it into words. It is beyond words, but we can feel it, can't we? We have moments, and often those moments are when we are in spiritual practice, when we are consciously moving everything that is happening aside and go within and feel our connection to the divine. It is also recognizable in form. I believe that this organization The New Vision Center is an outpicturing of beloveds having understood that truth, that love is always, always present, and have chosen to give it form. That's why we meet on Sundays and on Wednesdays and in classes. We come together to remind each other, you are love. We heard music today. We heard beloved Cerise sing. Music reminds us in a way that words hardly can. That we are love, each and every one of us. You heard that today is a special day. We are dedicating our Peace and Meditation Garden, our peace pole, and the telephone of the wind. You would think it's a 3-hour celebration, but no, we're doing it all in 30 minutes. In 30 minutes. The way that experience came together, the beauty that is revealed here on the Tatum campus, that, beloveds, is love in action. That is having people connect with what is theirs to do and removing all of the barriers, and believe me, there were a couple, removing all of the barriers with ease and grace, and what sprung forth is a place that we are all invited to connect with the divine even deeper, to connect with the God of our understanding, to connect with ourselves, and also with the telephone of the wind, to connect with those beloveds who are no longer in our life. And so you might ask, what am I to do with all of this? I heard you clapping. I know you're on board. I know you believe that the power for love that is greater than we are is everywhere present and is within us. What do we do with that? Well, beloved, we walk it out together. We walk it out. We remind each other, you are love. That is all who you are. That is it. Being a spiritual being, having a human experience here, where for some reason we have forgotten that we truly do have a ticket to claim what is rightfully ours. And so I ask you, are you in? Are you willing to claim it? Are you willing to be a vessel of love right here, right now? Yes. I'm in too. For I believe that together we will change the world. It starts when we change our inner landscape and truly believe that we are the divine made manifest and walk it out together. I am so grateful we are on this journey together. Thank you. And now let us take all of that into action. As I speak a spiritual mind treatment, I invite every minister, every practitioner in training who feels called to stand and hold this consciousness, this knowingness with me. If you have a glimpse of it, please join me. How grateful I am. How grateful I am to know that there is one presence, one power, that it is right here. Right where I am, right where every person is. It is so beautifully made manifest. And as I consciously step into this knowingness, as I remind myself of the eternal loving kindness, the eternal grace, the eternal givingness of life to all, I recognize that that does include me. And so it is from this place of deep knowingness that I speak my word. I speak a word for all beloveds who are walking this path, the spiritual path of knowing that love is all there is. And especially hold all beloveds up to the light who are walking through a difficult challenge, who are about to forget that truth. I hold up to the light all of the beautiful manifestations that have been made so by this knowingness that love is simply all. And so allowing every cell of my being, every inch of my consciousness to realize this truth, I simply call it so. I place this word into universal law. It is already done, I know it. In the mind and heart of the divine, it is already so. And together we anchor this truth as we say, and so it is.